with both hands. I gotta feel the kick inside. Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire, fire, fire! Hey! Hi, welcome to Renee Marie's Stroke of Luck. We're really happy to have you join us today. It's August 2nd, I believe, and it's going to be it's going to be a wonderful show today. We have two directors of rehabilitation. One is a director of rehabilitation. His name is Ramon Lerma. Sorry. Ramon Lerma is director of rehabilitation. And we have Jillian Fessler, who is the regional director of rehabilitation. So I'm really excited about it. We're going to touch on some rehabilitation for stroke patients. So it's really, really exciting, and it's going to be very, very educational. So we have our round table team here. We have Bobby Baby Walker to my way on the other side of the table.
Howdy, folks.
Co-host. Yay! And then we have Michelangelo. There you have it. Productions. And
you almost forgot my name.
No, I would never forget your name. And Michelangelo, actually, I don't know if I told all of you, but he is actually the executive producer of the video and the sound for our telethon. So congratulations. Yay!
Thank you very much.
And then we have our special correspondent, Joe. Yay!
Yay!
So how's it going?
Things are good. Things are looking very, very healthy now. I'm enjoying being here. I'm enjoying this show. This is going to be very informative and very educational. And you better watch this and pay attention, because all this is really going to change your life.
Yeah, and actually, Michael was the one who found our guests, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that and how the trail came in our next segment. But I really have some exciting news. And my team here knows that our Renee Marie's Language of Love Foundation has been government approved to be a 501c3. So it's now a nonprofit organization with tax exempt status. And people,
Congratulations to us.
Yes. Great job, Renee.
It was really important. And I got to tell you, let me see, a woman named Tricia from, a nonprofit advisory group was the wonderful angel who helped us to establish it. She really, you guys know how intense and difficult and time-consuming it is to get a 501(c)(3) status. It's not something that you get, they hand them out easily. You have to really file the paperwork. You really have to have your purpose.
A stack of paperwork like that.
It is. I think it's like 1,000. No, it's
a lot.
Yes,
it's
but
a lot.
I think they said it was like 100 hours of paperwork. 100 hours of paperwork, which is pretty intense and crazy.
Intense.
And they, and actually, she made it. First of all, she was absolutely wonderful. I got to read something that she has a profile in her on her website, and I love her concept. It says connecting with a new generation of heroes. In these times of economic uncertainties and constant change, technological advances have connected more people than any time in history. And yet, people are more disconnected from human interaction and distracted by the noise and negativity surrounding us. I believe it is time for our next generation of heroes to step up and define themselves and their purpose while building connections and relationships in the community for nonprofit, low-profit, and social benefit companies. This is what I loved. I am honored to be of service and share in the journey with people who are making a difference. So I love the fact that, you know, her heart and soul is that she's a really high executive in the corporate world. She used to be, and she retired, and she's really dedicating herself to helping nonprofit organizations establish 501c3s. And actually, I'm going to continue to be stay in communication with her.
Well, then I guess she knows what she's doing when she picked you.
Ah, thank you. We got it in 3 months. In 3 months.
That's a good amount of time.
And I've heard it takes a year to 2 years sometimes.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Tricia. I am so happy and I'm so privileged to have connected with you, and I hope in the future to meet you personally. We've had, communication on the phone and via email and all that kind of stuff, but I really want to thank you so much because you're going to make a difference in our lives, in the lives of stroke patients and aphasia patients, and we look forward to working with you in the future. So anyway, so Bobby, what's going on? What have you been doing? Tell them about what we did last night.
We went out and we performed at a place called San Martino's in Yonkers, and we performed as a duet, and it was a nice reception. We got a nice crowd, and we performed several hours.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was fun, and it was really nice.
You had some really nice guest people in the audience also. You
Yeah,
had,
Michelangelo.
And unfortunately, Roseanne couldn't make it because she had a little bit of a rain out with her her farmer's market. But we have some cookies in the back.
Roseanne happens to be one of my first female vocalists in the band that I started, BBW, and she was the female vocalist. She was unable to make it that night. But we had Jane Fox from Twin Gold. We had Gene DiNapoli.
Yes,
a very good
Elvis and tribute artist.
Elvis and tribute artist, right? We had,
and he actually does a wonderful Bronx. Is it the Bronx or Brooklyn?
He calls it Bronx Bombers,
Bronx
and
Bombers.
where he dedicates a lot of songs from people who are performed from the Bronx.
And he does it very well.
I got to tell you, I really liked. I saw him. I met him maybe about 15 years ago, and he did a pretty good Elvis back then, and that's all I thought that he did.
Yeah.
And then he called me up and said, "You got to come over and videotape my show. I do this other show now." And I said, "You did Elvis pretty good, but you do everybody else really great."
Right.
He does. Really, it's a very good performer. That's Gene DiNapoli.
So anyway, we had also a radio personality, Francisco. There also.
That's right. That's right. And actually, she's gonna book us on her show to talk about strokes and my story, my stroke story.
Right. And Francisco's daughter was filming the whole show. So look for it on YouTube.
Yes.
Or Facebook.
Just look for it on the social media.
Just look at it. Look for it, right.
So it's good. And then Joe has, we're in the process of you're going to work on booking our stroke keynote and singing, speaking. You're going to work on booking our keynote and singing, speaking engagements.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to be trying, and not trying, I'm going to succeed in doing it all on Suffolk County. A couple of venues out there, and I'm in the process of working on it. And I'm sure something's going to come of it.
Yeah, it will. It will.
All right, very
So, well, we're going to be working on bringing hope to people.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, Michael will be videotaping it, and we'll have his work up on the YouTube and the internet. Michael has a wonderful, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, a wonderful, There You Have It Productions. Google it. There You Have It Productions. It's a wonderful video. So I think we're going to go to a break so we can spend a lot of time in our special guests on the round table. So we'll be right back in 2 seconds, and I hope you'll join us.
Well, maybe not 2 seconds.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York. And we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Welcome back to Renee Marie Stroke of Luck. It's really an honor to have our special guest here. Well, I'm going to let Michael Angelo talk a little bit about before, and actually to tell the connections of how we got them to be our special guests.
Why don't you put the spotlight on me? I'm not prepared. I can't do. All right, okay. Well,
even though he asked to do that.
well, I guess through my conduit capabilities, I met Ramon through this San Souci Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Yonkers, where my mother is, and he's the acting head of rehab there. And I got to tell you, I made friends with him right away because his staff is just completely unbelievable. They're great. I've never seen anything like this before.
Wow.
Probably because I've seen some pretty bad things.
Right.
No,
right.
But no, my mother's rehabilitation has been nothing short of, oh, look at this. The microphone fell off. Put it back.
We're live.
What the hell's wrong with you?
These are the bloopers, right?
You got it. You got it.
I hope that worked out pretty good. If you didn't hear what I said, again, we go back to saying. See how nervous I was? I was sitting on the microphone.
You know what?
Oh my
God
gosh.
is so good. He's giving you a second chance. Start from the beginning.
He's also giving me a sense of humor. All right, so we're going to start again. Like
Yes.
I said, through my conduit capabilities, I was able to meet and get together these people to come to the show and let everybody know what's going on in the area of rehabilitation and therapy.
Which is really important.
Yes. Now, I met Ramon at the San Souci Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Yonkers, where my mother is recently. And they've done some incredibly, I would have to say, miraculous
Wow.
things with her, because when we brought her in there, she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, there was nothing going on. I was actually at the verge of thinking that I was going to lose her at any given moment.
Wow. Wow.
And now it's like she's come back to life again,
Wow.
and because of their, I have to say, aggressive but compassionate ways, and I guess their form of dealing with therapy, and it's just amazing.
Right.
And I remember there's a lot of things going on, like, okay, Christine is my mother's name. Christine, you're ready. It's time we're going to therapy. She goes, oh, I don't feel like it. Yeah, well, you're going.
Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
no, and this and the way that Ramon and his staff deals with the people, it's just they make them feel really, really comfortable about things that they may not want to really do.
Right. Right.
But here we have Ramon and Lerma, and we have Jillian, and they are just two amazing people.
Welcome.
And,
And we have a special 5-week-old guest named Rio, right? Is that her name? This is her TV debut. She's going to be popular in her life. She's going to be world famous.
That's right.
maybe this the YouTube will go viral. But she had to come with her mom because I love the story, and that's why I wanted her to be on the show, and I wanted to give her special accolades because rather than Jillian backing out and not being able to come because her babysitter couldn't care for her child, she took her with her, and and they're here together. So I'm very happy. So Ramon, tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing the rehabilitation. How long you've been in the field for?
Well, I've been in the field even before a therapist, working with a company called Hallmark in California. I was with them for probably a good 2 years of time before I even kind of pursued being a therapist. Being a therapist, I haven't been a therapist too long, but actually I passed my test in New York, and I started working in Queens first, and then kind of went over to Yonkers actually as director of rehab.
Where did you work in Queens? Because Joe, you're from Queens, right?
Originally, but also right now I'm in Long Island
Okay, so I
with
worked
St. Charles Hospital.
okay.
They
St.
do a
Joe's.
lot of work over
They
there.
do. We definitely get a lot of residents from St. Joe's
Oh,
Hospital
wow.
as well.
Wow.
So I work. I started off at a place called Highland Healthcare Center. I believe it's on Jamaica Avenue and 175th Street.
Yeah,
Okay.
Somewhere around
I'm
there,
familiar
yeah.
with it.
So I started there, and same thing. I think I've been in skilled nursing now for the last 4 years or so. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy actually working with the population, which are all the geriatric population, and some younger residents in their 40s who come with bilateral knee replacements or hip replacements, orthopedic stuff.
Have you had many young stroke patients? Have you dealt with many young stroke patients?
It seems like more. I think the youngest I've probably had was probably in their 50s. But it seems like younger, as the days go by, you get younger and younger residents who are actually in their 50s.
Right.
I've heard even as young as 20 years old having strokes. But a lot of that's contributed to the lifestyle. Of course, there's a lot of many risk factors that people should be watching, and they know it in the back of their mind, but yet they still are like, oh, I'm young.
Right.
I want to be able to do this for a long period of time. I'll stop when the time happens. And
Yeah,
sure enough,
we stress that a huge percentage of strokes can be prevented, and that's
Sure,
what
most definitely.
we try to make people aware of.
exactly.
Yeah.
We definitely try to pride ourselves off of educating the resident, educating the caregivers, and anybody else who wants to listen, because it is a very important
Right.
life-changing situation, because it's not just changing the way your diet is or changing your activities, but it's changing your entire life and your way of thinking, and sometimes doing that It is very difficult for some
It
people.
is. It's almost
is.
like having to change the patterns in your brain.
Oh, you got to change everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is.
exactly.
Yes. Jillian, how long have you been in your position?
Surprisingly, I just thought about this. 14 years. I can't
Wow.
believe it.
Wow.
Well, not in my position, but as an
Right.
occupational therapist.
Right.
And I've worked in a lot of different settings. I've worked in some pediatrics and some hospital, and actually a TBI and stroke center.
Wow.
As a regional director, I've been the last 8 years.
Wow.
So, but in different companies, not the current company that I'm in. I moved from California.
Oh,
so,
you both moved from
yeah.
California.
Yeah,
We're
she's
California
originally from New York.
Yeah,
and
I'm
so-
originally from Staten Island, and I moved out to
Oh,
California as a
okay.
travel therapist, and so I stayed out there for some time as well,
Wow.
as a director of rehab, and then a regional director of rehab and skilled nursing, and then came back home for family reasons.
Wow.
so.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, that's not too much traveling for you because you live and you work in Staten Island.
Well, I work all over, so I actually right now I'm managing 15 buildings. So some are in Pennsylvania,
Oh,
some
that's
are
a
in
little bit of
Ohio,
travel.
a little bit. Most of them are in the New York area, so in Yonkers, Westchester, Brooklyn, Manhattan, all over.
Well, that is a lot. You're
Yeah.
traveling from Staten Island to go to Yonkers almost every day.
Yonkers.
Yes, but it's not a bad trip just because at least I get to go through Jersey, as opposed to when I was working for a place called the Riverside. I actually had to go into Manhattan, which was at least took me an hour and a half just to take the bus.
Right.
So going to Yonkers is easy. I heard that the winters are not that easy there though because of all the
Where's that?
hills
Oh,
in Yonkers.
in Yonkers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But besides that, should be fine.
Good. So, I know you both know our purpose is for
Sure.
strokes and to make awareness. And what's the biggest challenge for stroke patients to deal with what's your opinion of the biggest challenge for stroke patients to address as physical therapists?
I think for me, the biggest challenge is that they are impaired. Is that they still have the mind frame as like, okay, even though I've had this brain dysfunction now, they still feel like they can do it. And I think that's the hardest thing to realize for them is like, I can't do it. I need help. I'm going to need an assistive device as a cane or a rolling walker or a brace on my knee so that that's the hardest part, is the psychological part of coping with, I got this, I have this, now it's an illness because I have it. It's going to be with me now. I can fight it or I can try to work with it. And so the first couple of weeks, they tell me when they come to the building is that, hey, I'm going to be out of here in no time. And then, of course, we're a customer-based type of profession still. And so for me, it's like, okay, yeah, you are able to do it, but it's going to take some time.
Do you, let me ask you, do you recommend neuropsychologists in being tested and, having them actually grade you? I mean, I had a brain injury, and I suffered from a subacromial brain hemorrhage, massive hemorrhage, and caused 9 strokes after that. So I was laid up for 3 years. I couldn't speak, walk, talk, or anything. But it was frustrating, but my neuropsychologist, besides the therapist, who I'm friends with today since
Sure,
2007,
yeah.
I mean, we're best friends, it was very important for me to speak with the neuropsychologist who tested me and told me what my deficits were and actually showed me and taught me how to retrain my brain, because like you had said earlier, you think you can still do it. It's very frustrating, but I had to train myself to do, instead of picking this paper up this way,
Yeah, we'll get into
the way
detail.
before the strokes, now I had to learn to pick it up this way.
Sure.
So I had to retrain everything. So I was just curious, like, what your feelings were like on, neuropsychologists and things like that.
I think it's really important, but I also think even in therapy we were always enhancing and trying to use standardized testing because you need a base to not just do therapy, but to have markers to show progress
Right.
and to know
Absolutely.
exactly where you're at. So this way you feel success as
Right.
well. It's motivational.
Right.
The little gradual steps are really
So
encouraging.
So you also do an evaluation to get a baseline of where the person is, and then you monitor the person, and then you can, So
Absolutely.
that's-
We do a generalized evaluation for each of the disciplines that looks at
Right.
strength, balance,
Right.
how you function, how you put your clothes on, how you get up and walk.
Right.
But then we also look at the fine details too. So maybe we'll do a Berg test, which looks at the balance,
Yes.
or we'll do an ACL test, which actually looks at cognition
Wow.
to give you a norm of where you are
Right.
in terms of your progress.
What test is that? Just I'm trying to learn.
Sure.
Cognition.
Cognition, yeah.
What kind of a test is that?
So cognition, we look at, there's lots of different tests that you can look at cognition. But cognition basically looks at all of the functions of the brain in terms of not movement, but how you think. How you think, but also how you see things and how you recept things. So it can be anything from your vision to being able to, look at this piece of paper and digest what the words say. Or it can be how I problem solve. I just had a stroke. I'm not exactly sure, what to do. Is my left arm there? Can I recognize my left arm? There's so many different areas, but it's basically how your brain thinks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're aware that one of my passion is aphasia.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's
and cognition is
well.
part
That's
of
why
that.
I was interested in
Absolutely.
it because, with the stroke, as everybody could tell, you could tell physically the impairments.
Okay.
But in the mind, you really can't tell what's going on in the mind.
Yep.
So being a stroke and aphasia patient, I can tell you what it feels like from the inside out
Wow.
to be that way. And I guess that just makes me a voice for them, for us,
Sure.
to let you know that a lot of it comes from your brain is scrambled, and you feel fear, and you're set in your own pattern ways. And how do we get out of that? And I've been gifted with a gentleman in my life named Dominic Cortellessa, who God brought into my life, and he actually helped me defragment my brain, really taking steps in teaching me principles to always use. So I still have aphasia, and I still get the fear, but I go right to those principles. Now I've set myself in those, just go right to those principles and go away, back up, take a break. Nobody's in a hurry in life. You could take a break, and you could give yourself the time to figure it out. So I'm very interested in that. So
It's amazing because you would never know.
Yeah.
yeah, but well,
It's amazing. That's
well,
fantastic.
if you
It's
think
great.
about it, thank you. But if you think about it, it took me 25 years to get to this point.
Sure.
So time.
Can't imagine.
It took me 20. That's incredible. That's an incredible amount of time. But I'm privileged to be here, and we were talking. Last night we were saying that with the gift of a stroke comes the responsibility to give back and to do what we do. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
I'll tell you that out of all the diagnosis or residents that I get to see, I think working with people who've had CVAs, strokes, or any type of just brain dysfunction, I feel like that those are the people I connect the most with, because I'm able to actually take the time, and and they're willing to give the time in order to try to get better, as opposed to everybody else. People want to get better, but sometimes they have an unrealistic time frame of when they want to get something done with their body. At least with people with strokes, I feel like, all right, they're interested to get better because they know they can get better, and it's going to take time. And without kind of like the skilled interventions that we're talking about today, it's hard. And as you said, it takes 20 years. For you, 20 years.
It took me a long time.
Yeah.
Physically, I think I recovered as well as I could. My family's like, you have to go to therapy. And I probably should have continued to go to the gym and worked on it and all that kind of stuff. But, I had 2 kids, and my life was about my kids. When you're faced with possibly not being here anymore, and you have, your children, that's your main goal and objective. But mentally, my brain was still scrambled.
Sure.
It was still scrambled, and nobody knew it. It's not that I hid it. It's just that. It's just that I wasn't aware of it. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. But this gentleman, Dominic Cortellessa, he worked for Citicorp around the world. He had millions of people, not millions, but thousands of people working under him. And he was really a people person, and he understood how to make each person successful individually. He read people. He asked questions. And I don't know if he knew specifically what he was doing for me, but eventually he did because he knew I had a stroke. So I was really, really gifted. So when we come back, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to show photos of your, what are the photos of?
We're going to be showing some photos and talking about some of the equipment and tools that are used in rehabilitation, and maybe even some medications that may be involved. Well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a surprise. I know about a lot of this stuff too. So we'll be back in a few minutes, and here's your commercial right now. We're live on Madhouse TV.
Stay tuned.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful frame prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Hi, welcome back to Renee Marie's Stroke of Luck. It's an honor to have you as our viewers today. I'm here with Ramon and Jillian and Joe, our special correspondent. I'm going to hand the platform over to Ramon and Jillian, and they're going to show some slides. They're going to talk about some of the rehabilitation equipment.
Yes.
Yes. So could we put one of the first slides up? So those are cones?
Yes.
Yeah, so we basically use the cones when we're doing therapy, we break down all the function. And so for the cones, we would use it for basic functions of bringing your arms up, also working on balance and testing your balance out of range of motion and coordination. It really depends on what deficits that the patient actually has, and we would gear using the cones towards that function. So, but for the most part, we use it all over. Sometimes we even put the cones on the ground and set up an obstacle course to test people.
Really good.
You know, it's a tool that we use to sort of think outside the box of just regular function.
Right.
And to break down what the impairments are when we're working on our goals.
Yeah.
If you go the last one with the cones, it looks like she had one hand on the walker and the other one is actually reaching for the cones. It's also a neuromuscular reeducation tool or intervention that we use in order to try to get you to weight bear on a certain side or reach ipsilaterally like she's doing right now on the same side, kind of, you know, just trying to throw her balance off a little bit as well.
Now what's this?
Sorry, my eyesight's okay. I believe that is a splint.
Yes,
splint.
yes,
Yes,
it's a
splint. There you
yes.
go.
Okay, good.
This is OT. This is one of the OT side.
Yeah, so this we would use as a means to stretch a hand. So a lot of times in therapy, we're working on actively moving the hands. But when we're outside of therapy, even though we want everybody to encourage to use that hand, and because the more that you use it, the less you'll lose it. So, but at night, using a splint is great because we want to make sure that people don't develop contractures.
Yes.
And contractures basically are bony
spasticity?
Spasticity. So when spasticity happens,
Right.
the spasticity isn't really the issue. It's more that the more that the hand stays like that, the more the bone starts to develop calcification
Because
around
if my arm, I had a
full elbow splint.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It was actually in it because my arm is just this way, and it was like it got so
Tight, and it pulls in.
that I actually was having spasms.
Sure.
Right.
And
that I was actually
skin breakdown.
Yeah,
and the
it was.
knee.
It was very painful.
Of
Exactly,
course.
and when you try to actually move the arm out, it becomes more and more painful. It's not in a normal position. So the resting hand splint, which he showed, was it holds it into an actual functional position. So this way that it's in the best position possible for the nerves to regenerate and to just feel comfortable, so that you can clean your hand and use it.
And looking at that splint as well, that's a it's an off-the-shelf, really basic one that we can try to mold. But there's so many great assistive devices in splints like that nowadays that would blow your mind in terms of the material they use and the real actual purpose of something. Like maybe it's not really trying to get you to do something, but maybe it's trying to keep you so you don't further have the breakdown, you know, and the calcification like Jillian was talking about, and then become fixed. Once something's fixed, it's very difficult to start moving again.
And aren't there's actually splints that can help people that can't walk.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And they walk.
Oh, yeah.
What's that called?
And it depends on the joint. So there's splints for every single
Yeah.
joint. There's an
Yeah.
AFO
Yes.
for the ankle foot orthosis,
Yes.
and there's
Yes.
knee orthosis.
Wow.
There's even ones for the lumbosacral. So
Wow.
if somebody has some issues in their trunk.
Right.
They're able to.
Now, is this a splint also?
This is
Yes,
something
that's
we
a
would
knee.
use. This is for the knee, especially with people with stroke. So what happens is that you could have something called hemiparesis, which is weakness on the side, depending on where the stroke is affecting the brain, which side. So if it's the left side, it affects your left side. Your right side could be probably weak. You know, it's not always a definite, but it could be. And so what I like to do is we definitely like to try to brace the knee, because what happens is that you lose some coordination in the knee or in the joints area, which are the most stabilizing part of your body, is with your joints, your ankles. And so the brace itself is really good to help so your knee doesn't hyperextend. And once you start hyperextending that knee, then you're at risk of further breakdown in that area, which means that sooner or later that you may have to wear a brace full time. And so the brace would help us initially just to kind of stabilize the knee so we can actually strengthen the quads and all the synergy muscles as well.
And even sometimes for folks that are really, really weak, it can prevent them from buckling. So
Most
they
definitely.
don't
And then fall and then become a fall risk.
Yeah, my equilibrium is off. I
Sure.
mean, when I don't have to take the steps, I don't take the steps. Going up is not as bad as coming down.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Because, you know, I always take the elevator and stuff.
Sure. Oh, this is a rolling walker. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a rollator. As you see, it has 4 wheels. It has a seat, and it also has brakes on the hand rails. This is for more of a higher functioning resident. So there's a progression that we go through. So somebody who's kind of debilitated, we give them the wheelchair first, and then we start training them on using a rolling walker, which is on the left-hand picture, which is more stable, only has 2 wheels. And then we progress them to hopefully a quad cane, which gives you more base support, a cane, and sometimes a rollator as well. The rollator is nice because it kind of gets you, if there are higher functioning there, it kind of gets you to move outside over even and uneven surfaces, but also you can actually sit down and take your rest breaks anytime you want.
Right, right.
As
Well, I think that's awesome that,
Yeah.
you know, because sometimes it is challenging.
Oh, yeah.
And you get tired, and it's
Yes.
so important to be able to, you know what, sometimes some exercise is good for others, and some isn't good, and it really gives you the opportunity to sit down if you need a break.
Most
That's
definitely.
wonderful.
And a lot of times going in spurts is better because then you're saving your endurance will be longer. So if you go to the point where you're, okay, I'm a little bit tired, let me sit down,
Right.
you're going to be able to go further than exhausting yourself all in one
Right,
shot.
right. I think that's the same.
It's a hemi walker.
It's a heavy walker.
Yeah, you wanna go in there?
I can't see it. I'm sorry.
That,
Rio's being nice and
like
quiet.
The weights?
that's just our weight center. Oh, that one right here.
Oh, that's the hemi walker.
That's a hemi walker. Sorry. So this is a hemi walker. This is kind of the first steps. When you experienced your stroke, did you actually use this type of assistive device?
I didn't use anything.
Oh, you
Oh,
did.
wow.
You did, right?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which is a good tool, which is a great tool for us, is because it really, you're able to have it on your strong side, step it down, and then move through your weak
Right.
side, right?
Right.
So this is a good beginning tool for you.
It helps to really stabilize your center of gravity because your gravity when you first have a stroke is so off because it's just not there. You know,
Mine's
half of
still-
your
mine's
body is
still
not
there.
there.
The two of us
Mine is
still,
so-
Yeah.
and then
Really, it's
terrible.
It's scary. It's scary.
So this helps you to normalize it and bring it over to where you want to be and where you're
Yeah.
comfortable. So this way you can actually bring your legs through. And
Exactly. And through the whole process of you bringing your legs through, there's a lot of there's different techniques, neurological techniques that if you're certified in, that you can actually help a resident do facilitation of the muscles. So they take a step with the hemi walker, and then you're facilitating them with their certain muscles to get them to start moving their legs through. A lot of it becomes like either neurological reeducation, or for us, for physical therapy, a lot of pre-grade activities to get you to doing the right cycle that would help your body to go forward,
Right.
to propel yourself
Right.
forward. It looks just.
Okay.
This is a shot of
We
our
have
gym.
3 minutes.
Okay.
before-
Okay.
That's just a shot of our gym. You can see like where the chair is located.
It's so upbeat.
It is. It's been renovated.
Yeah, it's
You know,
nice.
light to me is so important.
Oh, I agree.
It
Most
just
definitely.
brings you good energy, and it brings you happiness. And when you're surrounded with beauty and elegance, and it lifts you up.
Well,
it
for
lifts
me,
you up.
functionally, it's great because people who have like dementia or who've had that, like the eyesight's affected and the vision. So actually having a bright area makes it a lot easier, so that you don't become a fall risk.
Right.
And they can see what they're doing.
Right.
This is a cervical hot pack. I like hot packs are good. You probably, a lot of people, they're pretty much generally for the public. It's easy. Although the only thing I think about is it doesn't really get deep into the muscles. It's a nice surface thing, so it alleviates the pain.
It's relaxing.
It's relaxing.
Sometimes it could be used more for comfort, I think.
Yes. Oh, here's an OT. It's that. It's the
pinchers.
pinchers, the clothespins.
So we use a lot of times with a stroke patient. We
I
have
did that.
You had a lot of
Motor control.
Oh, and picking up little pins out of rice.
Oh yeah, but that's a good thing. But it's
I'm still picking pins out of rice.
Yeah.
And that's when you get to that fine motor.
My motor skills are not.
They're not.
Next Saturday we're going to pick pins out of rice.
We're gonna pick pins out of rice. You know what? It's probably my own fault because
it takes a lot of work.
It takes the time and this is something that I know you'll both agree that that you can only instruct and kind of coach the patient to do it, but we have to do it.
Absolutely.
We have to drive ourselves. You can be behind us. You can support us. You can do whatever you can do. But it takes our inner knowing and our inner selves to push ourselves.
It takes guts. It takes guts to say, okay, I can't do this.
Perseverance.
I'm going to do this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing.
And with that fine motor control, that is the last thing to come back for anybody.
Mine never
It
comes
is the
back.
hardest thing to actually work on. And even as a neurological sequence, you can move your shoulders, you can move your elbows, and then once you get to the wrist, that becomes hard. But once you get to those fine details, you can grasp. But the actual picking up pennies, just picking up a penny off the floor, it's just so frustrating
Still
sometimes.
can't do it.
And just feeling it and touching it.
What is that?
It's called a diathermy machine.
Oh, okay.
And so we call it modality, one of our modalities that we use. And this would take a place of a hot pack for me, because this is like a subdermal machine that really gets into the muscle and really heats up the area. The importance of heat is that it brings a lot of like new blood, new nutrients to that injured site, so that it feeds it.
So this is the truth. That's why I love the heat.
Yeah,
honestly, I feel so much better when I'm in hot weather. And it makes me feel whole. It does make me feel whole.
Or when you take a hot shower and that muscle is really tight, all of a sudden you concentrate that warmth on it, and it starts breaking up like the fascia that's like that's tight.
Well, I am so happy. You're going to join us for our end celebration. We always go off singing a song. We're actually singing a tribute song today, United We Stand, because there's so much hatred in the world, and I think we need some love. So we're going to spread the love in a few minutes, and we'll be right back.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 cup.
Old Spice body spray will make you feel so powerful to blow your mind right in front of your face. Goodbye. Oh no! Power!
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Oh, Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
Try this routine to feel fresh and clean. Pair Charmin Fresh Mates with your Charmin.
Oh, Old Spice body spray is too powerful to stay in its own commercial. That's right. Power! Old Spice body spray can change a regular smelling man into a man who smells like power!
Now, how is this? Wow, you know what? I actually do feel more powerful.
Potato chips! Power! It's me.
Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's that big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies. Babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, Mommy and Dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds. Released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from
Planet Babylandia.
You go, play
with us on the bus.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, all
through the town.
Hi, it's Renee Marie from Stroke of Luck. We are back. Yay! I really want to thank so much our special guest, Ramon, Jillian, and of course, our angel, Rio. Yay! And of course, Michelangelo, Joe, our special correspondent, and BBW, my co-host. Yay! We really want to hope you enjoyed this show. And it really was very informative. And the gift with, of course, Madhouse TV is you can always hook on to us at Madhouse TV. Go to the channel, go to Stroke of Luck. You can find each each show all the time or on YouTube. And with that, we're going to roll on out. We're going to sing United We Stand, because in life, we have to sing a song that means something. And we have to send some passions to everybody. We want to spread love, and that's what this song is about. So let's rock and roll. Do a little love. Spread a little love. Thank you, everyone. Woo! Let's go. Here we go. There's nowhere in the world that I'd rather be than with you, my love. take over. For united we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, we'll be together, together, you and I. One more time, let's go. Here we go. For united we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, we'll be together, together, you and I. And if the world around you falls apart, my love, that I'll still be here. My love. Here we go, we changed the song. Let's go. United we stand. We did it for this, because we want to spread some love and light. Let's go. A little bit louder, let's go. We'll be together, together, you and I. Let's go. Come on. For united we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, we'll be together, together, you and I. Do we have to blow kisses? For united we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, when should we blow kisses, Connie? Let's go, blow kisses. Have a stroke of luck. God bless. For united we stand, divided we fall. And if our back